Deep in the rugged spine of the Sierra Nevada, the timber stretches endlessly, forming a natural wall between civilization and absolute isolation. By 1981, the vacation crowds of the Ketty Resort had long vanished, leaving behind a quiet, forgotten stretch of low-income housing. When the sun finally drops behind the ridge and the thick fog rolls in, the dark trees close ranks. On the night of April 11th, Sue Sharp and her children settled into Cabin 28, completely surrounded by a suffocating wilderness. They were about to become the victims of the most vicious, unsolved mass murder in California history. That heavy mountain silence seeped right through the wooden walls. The next morning, 14-year-old Sheila Sharp walked the short steps home from next door. She opened her front door, expecting the usual morning routine, only to be met by her mother, her teenage brother, and his friend, bound with medical tape and electrical cords, brutally bludgeoned and left on the floor. The living room bore the horrifying marks of total, calculated control. 3 people were slaughtered with hammers and knives in a space no bigger than a standard living room. Yet sleeping just feet away behind a thin bedroom door, 3 younger children survived the night completely unharmed, claiming they heard absolutely nothing. It took hours for the survivors to realize the true toll of the night. 12-year-old Tina Sharp was missing entirely. The ghosts of whoever walked those wooden floors lingered in the architecture long after the sun came up. This attack was planned. The killers brought the bindings with them, moving with the terrifying efficiency of predators who knew exactly who they were looking for and how to keep them quiet. But the investigation that followed lost its way in the fog, handing the reins to organized crime agents instead of homicide detectives. The cabin remained cut off from justice, the silence of the community echoing the silence of the woods. Staggering pieces of evidence were simply filed away and forgotten. A prime suspect even penned a letter claiming he bought his wife's love with 4 people's lives, a near confession that sat untouched in an evidence box for decades. A claw hammer reported missing by a neighbor was eventually pulled from a nearby pond, 35 years too late. Decades have passed, yet the DNA and the paper trail suggest that at least one living person knows exactly whose hands swung the hammers in the dark hours of Cabin 28. No one has ever faced a judge. They eventually tore the cabin down, but erasing the wood and the nails couldn't exorcise the memory of the victims. The full truth of that night is still out there, left buried somewhere deep in the surrounding trees.